Got done training baseball a lot. I'm gonna cut it up on here, put the rest of my stuff on it. Football with my son. This is the guy Ryan. He's going through some things. He coaches his son. 9 years old. He's going through some stuff. And I can tell you a bunch of stories. I'll send you a bunch of stories I've been through, and I've been through a whole lot of stuff out there. But you're struggling in life, man. Just focus. You're coaching your son. That's awesome. I'm coaching my son, and I got in my room a bunch of pictures of him and me coaching other kids, me and him, coaching football, baseball, and everything. It's a bunch of stuff, man, because I don't live that. I don't want to overlook that. He's 8 years old on Saturday, and he's in second grade, and he's just, he's gotten so much better. I want him to watch what I do, and I watch what he does, and it's important. Like I told you before, when I was down in Florida, I came up. I said, I was scouted. I was some of the teams in the NFL, and then I didn't get drafted, so I went down to Florida, trained, and then I was like, you know what, I'm missing something. I left because I had a nice, cushy job out there. It was great with kids, and I was like, I got to leave. I was homeless for weeks on end. Ended up going to Cleveland, and I caught a pass on the head and I hit the turf, and I was in the hospital. Woke up with a brain bruise. Was in a coma for 2 days. Woke up. And the doctor had to do little stuff, square and square, triangle, circle. And then when I was leaving, the doctor said, you shouldn't do anything for a few months. I looked at him and said, I remember it to this day. I said, who do you think you're talking to, man? I'm sure Malafronte, I know I can do this. Did this stuff out here and ended up earning a contract, my first pro contract. And I've been through enough because I was down in Florida training with the NFL players and other guys out there in the summertime. Head was bobbing up and down and did that stuff. Had to work from the ground up. Then ended up earning a contract. So I always say doubt kills more dreams than failure ever does. I never doubted myself. Never did. Even high school, college, pro level. Even now, just turned 40. Last 2 years, I got offers. But I never went because I'm coaching my son in football and baseball. I've been in the IFL, AFL. And, yeah, my goal is to play against the Arizona Rattlers in Phoenix for my son to see me play. But, like I said, I know when I'm doing football right now with him and baseball, he's gotten so much better and better and better. He sees what I'm doing. He sees what I've done. It's awesome. And I love it. And like I said, I gave kids, I wrote my autograph for a kid in college. He didn't know why he was paying attention. When I gave him my gloves, he put it over his door. Found out he put it over his door, man. And I've been through enough. So a lot of guys deal with stuff. I dealt with stuff, Ryan, in my life that you can never even imagine, man. And if you feel like you're going through some things, you feel like you're ever going through some things, man, just be thankful. Look around at what you have. Be thankful that you have something. Be thankful that it happened. Not sorry that it did. Be thankful that what you have. Look at the glass half full. If there's things in your life that's glass half empty, if you're looking at the wrong side of a negative situation, it's bad. I have to look at the positive side of everything. I have to look at the positive side of everything happening with me, and that's what it is. I look at the positive of things happening. Like, I look at that way. Like, I have to look at it. In any negative situation, I look at the positive. I look at the positive, and that's what I do. And that's what I've always done in my life. So if I didn't look at the positive of something happening negative in my life, I wouldn't be there. If I listened to what other people said, dictate what I can I do. None of that story about me from ESPN. I would never made a pro at any kind of level, no matter what. I never would have tried to work out with the Seahawks, Jets, and Browns, did that stuff. Never would go out there. I busted my ass every day, man. So that's what I do. And then the fallout, when you're going through some stuff, I went through some stuff years ago that I had to deal with, and people turned their back on me. And what happened is, like, I look at, if I wasn't that low and I didn't find who I found, I would have my son. Like, have my son and do the positive things in this world. Let me tell you something. If you're going through some things and you think you're a nobody, that's false. You're a somebody, all right? You are a somebody. To somebody, you're a somebody. You're not a nobody. Nobody's a nobody. So stop thinking that negative, okay? Stop thinking that negative that, oh, I'm a nobody. Just a nobody. What? Because you're not pro? What? Because you didn't have the name in the back? Whatever. I had the name in the back of my jersey. Whatever. I've done that stuff. But who cares? You're a somebody. You're somebody to somebody. You're somebody to your kid. You're somebody to something. You're a somebody to anything in general. You are somebody to somebody. And that's what it means something. It's got to mean something to you. It's got to. All right? You have purpose. That's what it's about, man. You have purpose in this world. Okay? You have purpose in this world. All right? So I'm trying to tell you, if you're going through some things, and Orion, you're going through some stuff, you got a kid, you coach him up, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Think of the positives in your life. And when you're going throughout life and you're struggling, you look yourself in the mirror. and you're wondering to yourself, man, what am I doing? Look at your kid. That's your why. That gets you up. That drives you through. Me, I have to still hear that stuff, all that stuff from fans and people out there sitting there, oh, he's old, what's he doing, blah, 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 blah. They're not the ones grinding. I'm the ones there. I'm the one that's been there. You know, you want to be a hero to your own story, you got to go out there. You got to go out there and shine in the heat and the snow and the rain, everything. I love it. That's my sanctuary. I'll drive by a football field, Ryan. I'll drive by a football field and see half the lights on, nobody in the stadium, and I'm going in there. I'm going in there running routes, air pass. I'm running out. I'm just thinking of everything. I'm just hearing fans just yell. Hearing fans yell and just hearing that stuff. And, like, I love it. And like I said, I had to deal with politics in college. I should have been more. I should have did more out there. I should have. But the situation is, when it was over, when I won championships, and I was frustrated because it was Hawaii, Grand Valley State, when I was done with it, even scouted by some NFL teams, I had to deal with, I still have to deal with fans from back there, because when they go back there to Mount, they only look at the guys that get drafted. They don't look at the guys like me who play arena football and pro, overseas contracts, had to deal with stuff, NFL camp workouts, mini camps, been doing all that stuff, busting my ass. They don't deal with that stuff. They might not hear your story. If they heard your story, they'd be inspired by it. But that's what you got to focus on. You got to focus on you, your positives around you. No matter what you do in life. When I tell kids, I say to kids, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever does. Don't ever doubt yourself on what you're doing. And if you think you're obsolete, don't think that at all. You're better than that. You mean something to somebody. Trust me. Even when you're going through some things, you mean something to somebody. All right? And that's what it's about. All right? So understand that and know that. All right? So I want you to know that if you guys are going through some stuff, like, I was told, somebody's going through some things. I've been through a lot. All right? So you got to focus on the positives. Ignore that negative people that sit there and talk in your life. Some of them, they're not in your lane. They haven't done what you do. They will never do what you do. All right? They will never do what you do. So your life is how you're going to make it. Your life, you got to be the hero to your own story. Not worry about the outside noise, negative people that haven't been through what you've been through and never will. They never will. Ever. So that's what you have to finish. That's what you have to focus up. Okay? So that's the blunt of it, man. That's the whole situation of it all. That's the nitty gritty of it, man. People throughout life, they don't. And when I try to tell you, you're going through some things, people throughout life have kids that don't deserve kids, and people should have kids that can't have kids. That's what you gotta be thankful in this world. Whatever you're going through, all right. God has a purpose for a lot of things in this world, and sometimes you'll never understand it. You won't. And I remember I lost. A situation I wasn't focused on a lot of things, and I prayed, and a week later I got my family back, and then I was in Green Bay. You pray, and things happen for you, okay? So when you see me out here doing stuff, when I train, and I work with kids, and then I train my son, and then coach kids, I relay the same message, all right? The same message. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever does. Don't ever doubt yourself. I'm not worried about friends doubting you, people doubting you, coaches doubting you, others doubting you. I'm worried about you looking in the mirror. You look in the mirror, not doubting yourself. Being the hero to your own story. Okay? When you're born, you look like your parents. When you die, you look like your decisions. So your decisions and throughout life, it shows on your face when you die. It shows everything you've been through can tell a story. And they want to hear that story. They want to see that story. Did he go through this? How did he react to this when stuff was negative? A lot of people in this world, and it's unfair, a lot of people in this world don't have to work as hard as you have the time sometimes because they get stuff handed to them. But what happens in life when that stuff drags out? What happens in life if something negative happens to them? What happens in life? How are they going to react? Then they're going to get tested out. I was blessed to be tested out when I'm a kid in New York. Then going down to Florida, Ohio, all over the place. It's nothing on me. Somebody told you. And the best thing is, if you weren't hated on by people, then you're not. Then literally, then what you're doing, it might not mean something. It's good to be hated on. It's awesome. It's awesome, man. They never been through what you've been through, but it's great. It's awesome. And that's what you want to understand. And like I said, I can put pictures up there. There's pictures in my room of my son and my friends in Elmont, New York, when I was a kid. and pictures of him in baseball, football, and then me coaching him in baseball, football, and then other kids out there and our accomplishments. I have him sign a ball, had the picture of the team picture in front of it, like in the Sandlot. And I remember, like I said, when I was a kid in New York, we would go outside, play basketball in the backyard. Then we'd go to Hendrickson Park, play basketball there, stop by the Korean store, and then stop by Gino's Pizza on the way home. That's the New York thing. Then we play football. When we play football in the street, we go pole to pole. That's what we would do. Pole to pole, touchdown, 2 poles. Then when a car came, you'd be a car. You move, then you go back in there. Then you play Manhunt at night. We hardly play video games at all, man. Played at night, Sega Genesis. We were out in New York. That's what it was. Nowadays, man, kids are different, man. Kids don't do half the things that you do as a kid. But you got to understand that. If your kid is not doing what he needs to do and he's still doing sports, that's why I train my son out here all the time. I train my son, and I'll train 2 other kids on our team next week. He does that. He does every day. He can be a leader and show them what he does. They get better and better and better, then they be leaders. He's being a leader without even knowing it. Like, that's the thing. So, I mean, that's the thing, man. It's a hard thing to do. And like I said, while I'm doing what I'm doing and myself for the IFL, I've been in the IFL before. The AFL one when I got hurt. I was in NFL minicamp, and I had workouts with him 2 days, and like I said, didn't make the roster, but, I mean, that is what it is. I know training, I know my focus is whatever I need to be on, focus what I need to be on, but this whole situation with my son, like I said, I'm going to be the best father I can be first and foremost. Whether I'm in Arizona, no matter where it is, Green Bay, I don't care. Right now I'm focusing on what I need to focus on, and that's me training top quality, then me teaching kids out there any single place I can be at, and then coaching my son up every day, and then helping kids out on my team. Even with baseball, he's going to be a leader on that team. He's going to be coming back, him and 4 other kids, but he's going to be there's going to be 5 new kids on the team, 5 or 6 new kids on the team. So he's got to be a leader in that one. We're going to have a young squad, and he's a monster. So what you're going through with life when you have a kid, when you do that stuff, do stuff, and whatever you're going through, man, just think to yourself this. Going through our life, listen to what I tell you, listen to the experience I have, but there's somebody out there who has it worse. There's some kid out there who dies at the age of 2 in the ghetto. There's some kid out there who doesn't have parents. There's some kid out there who doesn't have the means. He's athletic, but he doesn't have the means to go in sports. And he can't go in sports. Like, that's the thing. He can't go in sports. So there's kids out there that die in car accidents. There's people out there that die in car accidents. There's fathers who have kids who are 3 years old and they die in a car accident. They get shot or something. They don't get to raise their kid. So you're alive every single day. You have a son. You're involved in the sports right there. You're involved in the sports. That's awesome. Be thankful for that, man. Be thankful for it every day. All right? I never forgot about you. It's taken me a while to get back to you. Peyton came to me. He said something about it. And I wanted to reach out to you, man. Because like I said, people that come to me say, hey, my friend's going through some things. They come out to me and say that. I want to reach out to them. I know it takes a while. It might be a while when I do. But I've never forgotten about it at all. And I can tag you with some stuff, Peyton, with some stuff that I said in my indoor facility after I got done training for 20 minutes. And I can tag you with that stuff. And if you're going through some things, reach out to me individually. Like I said, it's free to be nice. It doesn't cost anything to be nice, to tell people what you've been through. And what I realized over the years, and this is true, sometimes I'm on the listening end of it. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should listen more than you talk, especially with people who have experience, who are going through some things, who've been through some things. And then you got to pick and choose your moments when you want to talk. Somebody's out there talking. Maybe you should listen sometimes. Maybe you should listen. All right? But when you're talking, not everybody's going to listen. You can have 100 people inspired, 100 people out there talk to a bunch of kids, because I've done that before. Try to inspirational talk to people because I've been through a lot of stuff, like Eric Thomas, T.D. Jakes, all that stuff. So I'm sitting there talking to them. 98 people might not care. 2 people might care, and I might listen to them, and it gets through to them, and it changes their life in a positive, and they branch out to other people who are going through some things. You never know when you're going to change someone's life. You don't know when you're going to change someone's life. You don't even know when you did. There's some people that come up to me, you don't even know when you did. Hey, man, what you said was this, and I listened to it. hey man, what you're doing with that, that's awesome. I like that. I like what you're doing. It inspired me. Sometimes I don't even know it. Your work ethic could inspire somebody, not just your words. How you carry yourself every single day can inspire people. And it's not easy all the time. Sometimes it gets rough. Life is rough, man. Sometimes it gets hard. Sometimes there's days where you don't want to show up. Sometimes there's days where you don't want to get out of bed. But when you realize every single day you don't want to be average, you don't want to be that person, you want somebody to remember your last name, whether it's your son, other people involved with them, do you inspire them to do something better in their life? There you go. You get up and you change the world in that way. You branch it out. You change it. Not just me as an athlete, but as a person, as a teacher, as a coach, as a mentor. All that stuff I do, I take with a passion. When I train on the field, I take that with a passion. I zone everything out when I'm on a field with one lights. I don't care what it is. There's so many stories out there. In high school football, the last game my junior year, we played Brandon Marshall and Lake Howell. The lights were half on. I remember that. I remember at Mountain Union when I trained with the lights, half the lights on the day before we played Capitol. And it was freezing, but the skies were clear. And I went out there and ran routes, and there was somebody else out there. We sat there and talked, and we just chopped it up. Then we threw the ball around a little bit, and I loved it. I loved it. I didn't think of that's a scene in a movie that you'd see. But it's in a mental roller deck in your mind. That's life. All right? That is life, man. You know? So, you know, it's just be the best that you can be in this, okay? Be the best that you can be. I've had to deal with so many people, so many haters, so many stuff that sits there and talk, and I deal with them. But you know what the thing that gets me through is I know what I've been through. And a lot of them have never even sniffed an NFL facility when they worked out. A lot of them haven't even been on television. A lot of them haven't even done, even when you win national championships, and I deal with politics there, they haven't done that stuff. They can't stick through 16 weeks. They haven't done that grind out in the snow. They didn't do that stuff. They didn't deal with politics. They know they're good. When you know you're good and you have to deal with stuff, that's the situation. And you know that. And that's the thing. They're not you. They are not you going through that stuff, and I love it. That's awesome. And how I deal with that also is throughout the day, when I'm training, they're not there. When I'm doing what I need to do, they're not there. The negative people that talk, they let them sit there and talk. They're not there. I'm out there training. Then I'm out there training my son, seeing the difference that it makes for him. So since he was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, with his sled with 110 pounds, 150, all that stuff that he's getting better at, his form, his running, his catching, all that stuff with hitting the baseball, all that stuff with other kids hitting the baseball better. When I'm coaching other kids in last year in April, they got so much better throughout the whole season. That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about. Like, they're changing their lives for the better, making them want to play a game when they get older. Maybe I help them out to get their sanctuary, you know, in football or in baseball. Maybe I help them out, you know? And there you go. That's what it is, man. Nobody will understand that. So, Ryan, you go out there and you do the best you can, man. And you're somebody. To your kid, to somebody out there, you are. And don't ever think you're nobody. And always, always never doubt yourself. Be great. Wake up every day and be great. Wake up every day and take your fist and punch that day in the fucking face. If it comes out there, it's going to stop you. Life hits you hard. Punch back at it. You know, life gets you hard. Punch back at the motherfucker. Okay? You know, get a pine box out there to stop me. That's what it is. You got to have that mentality. You know, you got to have that mentality. All right? So, a bunch of dogs out there, you're a beast. Every day throughout life, you be the best that you can be and change the world. Even if it's right there for you or if it's spread out, you change the world for the better, man. And you remember that. You remember that, okay? Take care. And if anybody else is going through some things, reach out to me and I can explain to you a whole bunch of situations, a whole bunch of life. All right? Be better. Be great. Do the best that you can. All right? And like I told you before, let me turn this on. Oh, like I told you before, be better and believe in yourself, man. Believe in yourself, Ryan. Believe in yourself. You're going through some things. Anybody out there going through some stuff? Reach out to me, man. Reach out to me because I've been through it. I still go through it every day. All right, but it's awesome because that's life, and you got to love it, man. You got to love it.